So welcome everyone. This is Debbie Mayberry with National Kitchen and Bath Association. Today's session is called Step Up Your Appliance Game with Color. And Rachel Moriarty, who's the principal designer from Rachel Moriarty Interiors, is with us. And before she gets started, we're going to have our sponsor. Let me just get our sponsor ready. We'll have our sponsor, Peter Wells, who's the senior principal designer with Amarok. Again, we want to generously thank Amarok for their sponsorship. And Peter, we're ready to hear a few words about Amarok, please.
Oh, great. Thank you, Debbie. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining NKBA's webinar series and today's session. I'm happy to be here on behalf of Amarok to thank you for participating. A little bit about Amarok, if you're not familiar with us. For over 90 years, Amarok has been dedicated to bringing you the latest in kitchen and bath decorative hardware that is very trendy, stylish, and unique, offering the latest finishes and merchandising tools to support your design selection needs. We're very involved, much involved in the kitchen and bath industry through NKBA, Association, and others, and we are very happy to sponsor this month's webinar series. We believe continuing education is an important part for all of us to not only get educated, but to get energized to do what we all love to do every day. So after the CEU webinar, please take the time to get to know us. We are located at amarok.com, and we're on most social networking outlets like Pinterest, House, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, we are included in interior design software like 2020 and Envision for designers and builders. Or you can just reach out to our customer care team, which Debbie will provide an email for after this webinar. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy.
Thank you so much, Peter. And let's see, Rachel, if you're available, we're ready to get going. I really appreciate that you're with us. Thank you again.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, NKBA, for having me here today. I am seriously so honored to be here. And of course, thank you to Peter Wells and Amarok for sponsoring today's presentation. I'm here today to talk about how to step up your appliance game with color, and specifically how to come out of the color closet in the kitchen. My name is Rachel Moriarty, and I am a multi-passionate San Diego-based designer and entrepreneur, #1 best-selling author, a global brand ambassador, a brand and creative strategist, and a color maximalist, as you can see from this photo. Most people would describe me as the ultimate colorful character. I believe that color adds interest and excitement to the world, and like a chef seasoning a meal, I sprinkle it liberally all over my design projects. Some of you may already be familiar with me. I run a private Facebook community of interior designers and decorators called Visibility with Rachel, so big shout out to my community members that are out there supporting me today. I'm a regular attendee of many of the design events, a panel speaker on the subjects of visibility and color, and this year I was appointed one of the 2020 Style Spotters by High Point Market Authority. I was designed and fabricated with a natural understanding and love of color. It's honestly my superpower, but I also have a strong technical background from fashion print advertising, where I aided with 4-color separation for over a decade. Within the last couple of years, I was brought on to Unique Design Solutions team, a tile and mosaic company, as a licensee to help them launch the Color Lab at the 2019 KBIS show, as well as the Rachel Moriarty Color Collection earlier this year at KBIS 2020, which unfortunately was probably the last time we were all together collectively. All of this is just to tell you that I live and dream in Technicolor. And today I'm going to colorfully guide you to step up your appliance game with color. First, we're going to have a quick look back through history of the color in appliances before we move forward into our color conversation. Color in the kitchen is not a new concept. Au contraire, bright, playful pastels were all the rage in the 1950s and 60s as we were modernizing our mom's utilitarian kitchens with the latest gadgets and new appliances. Then the pastels gave way to the iconic harvest golds and avocado greens. And I'm proud to say that I was doing avocado long before avocado toast became the hip thing of the 2020s. I think that there is something to note here. If you look at the top right of this slide, I want to point out how appliance and color was executed in the 1970s, because they went really hard and got the whole appliance suite in the same matchy-matchy avocado green. In the kitchen that I grew up in, we took it even further and we layered in green linoleum that coved up the wall to meet the avocado green wood paneling. So in the 1970s, we really committed to color. In the 1980s, the appliances were like totally either white, almond, or all black. I sort of remember them being a weird, shiny, textured plastic too. Dirt would get caught in that texture, and it was totally grody to the max. And I say that because I'm an 80s Valley girl, so I have to throw that in. So can we just talk about these laminate cabinets for a minute? I think we should have me back to talk about color on cabinets as well. Stainless steel hit the scene in the 90s, and we have been hanging out here for a hot minute. And when I say a hot minute, I mean 30 years. And all of you know I am preaching to the choir. Stainless steel still reigns supreme today. So that brings us to present day. And personally, I think that color appliances are going to be the comeback kid of the kitchen industry. I think they can totally live in the same space with their stainless steel counterparts. You'll hear over and over today You'll hear over and over, or we're hearing over and over, that today's climate feels very much like that of the 60s and 70s. And since we know that everything is cyclical, I think that we're getting ready for that pendulum to swing right back into bolder colors in the kitchen. After all, it's been about 50 years since those iconic colors of the 1970s. So I personally am ready for it. I'm here today to not only inspire you to incorporate color appliances into your design projects, but also to show you how to increase your sales by showcasing color to your clients. So here's what we'll be covering today. We'll be covering how to stand out with color appliances in a sea of gray and white. We'll be covering how to create an epic focal point with color. And we'll talk about how to captivate and create contrast with color appliances. Okay, so we'll go into identifying ways to stand out with color appliances. Today's consumer is all about lifestyle. As you know, design is very contextual. It has to function, things need to fit, and follow the NKBA guidelines, but I'm not here to talk about that today because I know that that is your expertise. So let's talk about how to present color to our clients. I want to take a real quick moment because I think it's super important to acknowledge the current environment we're in. We as designers don't really know what the rest of 2020 holds for us as far as projects go. As global citizens, it's super hard to imagine life getting back to normal after over 100,000 deaths from coronavirus, as well as joblessness and unrest in our cultural climate. One thing that we know for sure, though, is that the home is back. After months of quarantine, people are tired of looking at their homes in its current state and noticing that the functionality of them is not up to par either. We all got to know our homes intimately during this pandemic. I personally have received more new inquiries through this pandemic than ever before, but the jobs are different. They're smaller scale, and they have a slight DIY element attached to them since more people have time at home. This new set of clients want to update their home, but they're a little more conservative with how they're spending their money right now, and don't necessarily want a crew of people in their home that they don't know. What they don't seem to mind, though, is having some sort of professional installation done, sort of an in and out thing. So I think for the moment, the way that we can give our clients the biggest bang for their buck is by suggesting that they update their kitchens with colorful appliances. Anyone with an Instagram app knows that we've been seeing white and gray kitchens for quite a while. And when I see white and gray kitchens, I see a perfect opportunity to layer in a pop of color. Here's a great kitchen that I found online. It's modern. It's got modern stainless appliances. And if this client were to come to me and had some, let's say, quote unquote, diverted travel funds and wanted to do some updating to their kitchen themselves, I would suggest that we add in some layers like art, ceramics, vintage barware, and I would update the range and maybe the dishwasher. I would definitely add some Amarok hardware to these cabinet fronts. I think color appliances would look really awesome in here and just totally blend with some of the existing stainless steel ones. They are really a perfect pairing. I'm going to show this little progression through a couple of different color schemes because clients are always coming to me to help them get out of Brown Town, is what I call it. My clients come to me after they've boxed themselves into a corner and made safe choice after safe choice. And the next thing they know is their home is filled with wood cabinets, wood furniture, wood or travertine flooring, and then they tend to top it off with beige walls. Even though they come to me for color, there's always that moment right after signing the service agreement where they start to get uncomfortable with the idea of color, and then they start to get a little case of cold feet. It's my job to tantalize them with color, to keep them excited, to make them feel comfortable. And one of my favorite tools, it's a little old school, but it's still the mood board or the concept board. Obviously, we use technical drawings, we use renderings and all of that, but I think it's my strong fashion background, my advertorial background, that sort of takes me back to these mood and concept boards. Today, people still eat up these lookbooks and style guides. That's why they're really, really popular when you see those editorial publications. So I really play to that in my presentations. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I would do. And this is just to show you how to show color to make your client comfortable, because really at the end of the day, we want to close the sale and make money. Am I right? Okay, so we're going to go back to the stainless. So like I said, these are one of the tools that I use. And what I do is I start here in this white kitchen, and I make them feel really, really safe so we can ease them into color. I let them know we're right here in this white kitchen. It's safe, it's beautiful, it's got modern appliances. We're all good. Now we're going to go and we're going to pop a little green in, and we're going to see how we feel about that. And then I do a little temperature gauge. Then I might change it up a little bit, add a little navy in. I have to tell you, navy is my secret weapon. Blue is such an iconic color. It's timeless. You can use these words with your clients. When you use them, they know it's true, and it's an easy color to live with. It's an easy color to mix. So I think blue is the easiest color to sell. Green is really popular right now, but I feel like in the appliance arena, I am really loving these punchier colors like red, orange, and yellow, and I think they're really, really bold and fun. Of course, everything depends on your client and their level of comfort, and you will talk with them about that in your discovery process, because we have to think contextually about your client's needs and wants. So I wanted to show you this little trick just to pop in a little color. Since I come from the home fashion side, I really like to work with layers, and I fully style my projects all the way to completion. So when I would be presenting, let's say, a color range in a kitchen, I would also add in the art and some of the extra layers like ceramics and barware and all of that. Okay, so we're going to move again. So that was the white kitchen. This is the gray kitchen, and I got this from our friends at Bertazzoni. And I really, really love their philosophy when it comes to adding color in the kitchen. They are really intentional about what they do. So you can see that this is a beautiful range, whether it has color or not. The design is absolutely beautiful. But I think if there was a stainless range in here, it wouldn't capture your attention or your eye as much. So this is the case in point that I'm making when I'm talking about updating white and gray kitchens. I love that Bertazzoni calls their ranges the protagonist in the kitchen, the star of the show. Or if you've ever worked on a television production, they call it the hero. So let color be the hero of the gray and white kitchen. Now we're going to talk about creating an epic focal point. Again, we know that design is totally contextual. When I work with a client, I really go in deep with them. I want to know about their current lifestyle, their family, how they use their space on the daily. I also want to know where they've been travel-wise, as well as where they want to go. I get in their closets and their collections, as well as their hobbies and their passions. I know that it can sometimes seem a little invasive, especially right now since we're talking about kitchens and appliances, but I'm typically working on the whole home and not just the kitchen. For me, I need all of that information for us to move forward with the projects. So it can seem a little invasive, but really it's to their benefit. Clients are coming to me because they're color conservative. I need them to connect with color through an experience they've had, an experience they want to have, or a mood that they'd love to invoke into their home. So let's plan our escape really quickly and voyage over to Europe really quickly. Is anyone else inspired by the way the Italians live? One of my favorite things to do is to incorporate global travel. When I was doing research for this presentation, I did speak to my friends at Bertazzoni. I love that their muse for their products is the Italian lifestyle and everything that represents that, from great food and wine to Ferraris and Lamborghinis. I have a couple of ideal client profiles, and you might want to look at yours as well. One of mine is a bachelor client, and I think a red range would be an easy pitch as far for them, because typically they have some kind of red German car parked in their driveway. So I think in Bertazzoni they use the red. I think they use the red Ferrari paint on their ranges, as well as the Lamborghini yellow. So this is something to think about if you're working with that bachelor client, and let them know that you can park that Ferrari or Lambo in their kitchen. But as I reflect on my clients' lifestyles, not just my bachelor clients, but all of them, I'm thinking that more often than not, it's the husband that has been taking charge of cooking meals for the family. So I think a lot of times we've been thinking about happy wife, happy life, and moving everything towards the woman of the house. But I think that we can also pitch color to the husbands, because they're the ones kind of manning the kitchen. All right, let's talk about shifting vacation funds. I think that right now with the coronavirus, a lot of people may be shifting their vacation funds for this year. We're already in the middle of 2020, and I don't think that anyone is going to be traveling too far anytime soon. I love when somebody brings up the country France to me in our discovery phase. I had a summer home in a small village near Cognac for 10 years, And French blue is one of those colors that you can incorporate that immediately transports you or your client to that summer they spent studying abroad or treasure hunting through brocantes in the southern France. I also want to show here too, one of these colors I'm showing here in the SMEG is this natural almond or bisque, and I just love the way it reminds me of a crispy French baguette. This is a kitchen designed by Caitlin Wilson that I am seeing all over the internet. And so this is her personal kitchen, and I selected this photo because I love how she infused this French blue in her kitchen. I also love how she added the collection of the blue and white ginger jar, because I can't even count the number of times I've had clients ask me to incorporate their mother's blue and white collection into their home. Just this week, I had a client that inherited blue and white ceramics from her mom, and initially she wanted to sell it, but it really wasn't as valuable as it was to her in her memory of her mom. So simply adding a blue range to a kitchen would allow you to bring in some of those pieces, those collected and inherited pieces, so that they can feel a connection in their kitchen. And again, blue is a really, really easy sell when we're incorporating colors into the kitchen. One of the things I want to talk about, because we are hopefully coming out the other end of a quarantine, is rituals of the home and some of the new rituals that have sprung up for our clients and ourselves during this quarantine. In an instant, we were all preparing and cooking our own meals and discovered or rediscovered that cooking is one of the simplest acts of love and self-care. I like to start by reflecting what happened in our own homes during quarantine. Never in my life have I ever wanted a brightly colored range just to put a smile on my face during a dark and uncertain time. If you really think about it, dark and uncertainty are actually normal parts of our lives. They don't typically happen at this scale, but they do happen to us during various seasons of our lives. And I really do believe in the healing power of color and space. Using experience and empathy when proposing a snappy pop of color in a client's kitchen, I think should be presented in just this way. And excitement and positivity is contagious. If you use excitement and positivity when proposing a colorful appliance, that will anchor that feeling once that appliance is installed into their home. Culture is changing, and all of us have created new rituals during quarantine. I know that in my family, we love hanging out in Club Quarantine. And if you have been on Instagram, you probably have heard about DJ D Nice and Club Quarantine and spinning music. But what I really love is I love watching what my clients have been doing. I've seen them discover or rediscover cooking and baking. Most of my clients belong to wine clubs, and I've seen them kind of transition and meet with their wine clubs and do wine tastings in their kitchen via Zoom. I've seen them host virtual mixology parties where you order the cocktail concoction kits online, and then everyone meets up on Zoom for a mixology lesson. We even did that in our local San Diego Architectural Foundation for our members. So if you think about it, we are taking control of our own experiences, our own entertainment in our homes, because we cannot leave them right now. I think in the end that this is going to be a big boost for us in the kitchens, especially when we're talking about appliances. I know this may be a stretch, but I've been thinking that in the era of social media and Zoom meetings, more and more people are seeing the inside of our homes at such a large scale. The design community went absolutely bonkers over the news anchors' homes and their backgrounds when we first went into quarantine. I think that keeping up appearances is not only going to be about the kind of car that you have parked in your driveway, but it's also going to be about the kind of range you have parked in your kitchen. So let's make it pop. My son is a young college-age man, and I watched him during this quarantine not just become a cook, but become an epic cook. When quarantine first started, we spent hours upon hours in the kitchen, taking inventory of the food that we had, meal planning, prepping, and cooking. And cooking for us meant connection. Cooking for us was our therapy, and the kitchen was our lab and sanctuary. As a result, we are in serious talks about upgrading our kitchen with a new colorful range to transform cooking, daily cooking, from a chore to a joy. So I know there are some of you out there that are non-color lovers. One way to approach that, there's so much offering out there in the market. You could just do the stainless steel range like you see here and just add a punch of color to the knobs. And you can do any color is available. We're showing red here. I have a lot of boomer clients. A lot of my boomer clients are caring for their parents or planning for their aging in place. They are right now a little COVID conservative. They know that they're in a high-risk category, and they're definitely not planning to travel anytime soon, and they don't want a really large renovation. But they are willing to invest in very statement pieces in their home. I would definitely show your value to them by letting them know that adding some red knobs to a range is not only a great design element, but can help them in their future if there are any visibility issues. We want to keep them stylish and sassy and safe. So next we're going to talk about Captivate, creating contrast with colorful appliances. I mentioned earlier that I run a private community of designers called Visibility with Rachel, and the focus of that group is what I call visibility, which is visibility for your business. There are many strategies that I love to talk about, mostly social media strategies, but classic media strategies are really the gold standard, especially since there are less and less magazines. Getting featured in a magazine is a visibility strategy, but it's a long game visibility strategies. One thing I want you to know is that editors are always looking for a story and a hook, and color has proven to be a great one for me. Most magazines run a color issue every year. Color pops off the pages of magazines or the white backgrounds online. And almost like I said, every year they put out their color issue, and having color in a kitchen project in your back pocket will have them salivating. This is, of course, after we specify the right color appliance for our clients and their needs. Many of my luxury clients, when I go to their house, will have a tear sheet from a magazine that they've saved for years before getting in touch. I've heard some designers say that they have worked with a client that client has had that tear for years and years before they got the nerve up to call them. So I want you just to remember this. This is not the reason to put color in your project, but it can be, for us, those of us with our own businesses, a strategy for getting business. Visibility leads to credibility, and that leads to profitability. This could be its own webinar. I'm definitely not going down that rabbit hole today, but I think it's worth mentioning here. Make your kitchen a happy place. This last year, or not, it's not even this last year, it feels like last year, earlier this year at KBIS 2020, True came out with this orange tinge yellow that seriously warms you up kind of from the inside out. It's called Saffron. And this color really evokes feelings of happiness to me. It looks incredible and modern with a walnut finish. And I really am so excited to see this come into residential. We all love drama, but a little drama goes a long way. Our clients have been hit with images of white kitchens for years now. Just the other day, one of my clients said to me, I can't wait till I can have my all-white kitchen. They've seen it and they want it, but at the same time, they're putting their trust in us to guide them to that next right thing so that they're not behind the times with their investment. I honestly do not think that clients even really know that there are over 200 colors available in appliances today. It's up to us, leaders in the industry, to share it with them. And we know that they are not seeing it when they walk onto the showroom floor. There is just not enough space on the showroom floor to show all of this color. So we have to educate them. We have to educate them, first of all, that it's out there, it's available. It doesn't really cost that much more to specify a custom color for their kitchen, and it's something that should really be considered. I added this dark range, obviously, for dramatic effect. To me, it says cosmopolitan living, and I think it would be perfect for the wine connoisseur. One thing I want to talk about is just the purpose of color in the kitchen. We can't just throw rainbow spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. There has to be a deeper meaning, and there has to be a purpose. So one of the reasons is to make a statement. Two is that it really does enhance the client's well-being. And three is that it simply evokes happy emotions for the clients. I'm calling this yellow, I just love. I'm calling it the sun salutation. I have a lot of color in my house, but I'm really convinced after researching for this presentation that I need a Lambo yellow range parked in my kitchen. And I know, honestly, that it would put a smile on my face every day as I walked into that space, and I would never tire of it. We can offer that to our clients as well, and how priceless is that? I can literally imagine running into my client in 10 years' time and having them say, I am so happy that you helped me specify that yellow, red, orange range. I still love it, and it still makes me happy. So we talked about the purpose of color in the kitchen, and sometimes it's just to add personality and flair to a space. As long as all of the functionality is there and it's meeting all of the guidelines, I think that adding personality and flair is a solid purpose as well. Cooking is a form of art, and just like a chef adds layers of seasoning to a meal, we can use color and personality and flair to a kitchen space so that it's an artful reflection of the homeowner and their passion for good food, wellness, and cooking. Okay, I am bringing up a design dilemma that I see over and over, and I'm sure that you as K&B designers do as well, and it's the honey oak cabinets. Can we just talk about honey oak for a minute? I think that as designers, we owe it to the world to figure out a way to update these honey oak cabinets. It seems like it's always the husband that just cannot part with them, and they're so difficult sometimes to make look modern. I found this photo of a kitchen with the oak cabinets, and I thought they did a really great job by removing the uppers and adding the floating shelves and updating the countertop. And I started thinking, what could we do with the current modern appliances to make this feel more modern? So here you'll see that this is an option. I think we could blend in the lower this is, I think this is Blue Star, and they have a build your own system online. And so I went in and I kind of color matched so that the whole bottom cabinet run kind of blends in. Option 2 here is to kind of create a earth tone color scheme. So I just wanted to present this to you because I would love you to be part of this solution. I am honestly always looking for a way to do this. So I created a hashtag. It's called hashtag Honey Oak Cabinet Challenge. It's a brand new hashtag. There's nothing posted on it. So if you come up with something, please post it on social media, tag at Rachel Moriarty Interiors, and use this hashtag Honey Oak Cabinet Challenge. I think it'd be a super fun way to start playing with some of the appliance colors and throwing it into real life situations that we see over and over again. So what's old is new again. And what I mean by that color in the kitchen is an old concept made modern. I hope that today I've inspired you to explore how you can incorporate kitchen color into your kitchen projects. I like to think of home as a symphony in color, and color is a valuable tool of the trade and can make a room, but we know in the wrong hands, it can also break a room. So we have to guide them through this journey. Because I'm a color maximalist, I have to end with the coolest collaboration I've ever seen, Dolce & Gabbana and Smeg, talk about color and pattern on steroids. I also have some action steps for you. I want you to go out and get familiar with some of these color appliance brands and their various offerings. And then I'd like you to go out and work on some design concepts in a variety of styles so that you feel confident presenting color to your clients, because confidence closes the sale. I would put them in different styles, traditional, transitional, modern, retro, anything that you're seeing over and over again through your clients so that you're ready to present it when that opportunity comes. If you have your own design firm, you can leverage these new boards on your social media and share this exciting trend with your followers. What I know for sure is that if you share color on your social media platforms, you will magnetize those clients and projects with color. Finally, kitchens are a place to let creativity shine not only in meals, but in self-expression. A unique appliance color can really take a kitchen from a basic copy of the latest Pinterest or Instagram fad to a modern look that showcases your client's personality and style. We probably won't be hearing the phrase orange is the new stainless anytime soon, but color is definitely catching on. And I want to thank everyone today for spending this time with me, and thank you to NKBA and Amarok for sponsoring this presentation. Debbie, I'm ready for Q&A.
Okay. Hi, Rachel. That was so inspiring. Thank you so much. Really loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there have been questions coming in, so let's get started.
All right.
All right. So how do you feel about mixing an appliance that feels more high-end with middle-of-the-road refrigerator and MV?
I am super into the high-low mix. I do it all the time. I'm always adding in, and where I know we're talking about appliances, but when you think about the home in general, we are always adding in, maybe a vintage find and something bespoke. So I think it's a great mix. Okay. It also kind of diverts the attention, right? You kind of look past the average average older ones and, focus on the bolder new one.
Oh, for sure. So many slides back, you were showing a Bertazzani hood, I believe, or range. No, it was a range. And someone was asking about the hood that was in that particular slide on the right side. Do you have any information on that?
I don't, but I would suspect it was Bertazzoni because it was from their, where was it? It was from their website. Yeah, I think that, is it this one?
I think.
Yeah. I'm actually not sure. This was I think from their Instagram or website.
Okay. Okay, that's good. And then so other questions are coming in about, well, so what appliance brands are best at offering great colors? I guess here's where we can talk about brands.
Okay, there are a ton of them out there. I'm always, when I was at KBiz and walking the floor, I'm always like looking out for them. So I'm just going to say Bertazzoni, obviously, Smeg, and Big Chill. If you have that kind of retro look, they're amazing at that. But that Big Chill also has some modern. They both have modern appliances as well. Blue Star is really fun. If you are just dipping your toe into the concept of using color in the kitchens, they have an amazing build your own range. And you can select the body color, you can select the knobs, and some of the trim colors as well. And that's what I did to prepare some of these slides.
Oh, okay, good, because that was one of the questions about, customizing appliances with a color that is wanted. So
Yeah,
you just,
a lot of them are just RAL colors, and there's literally like over 200 options that you can use. There was also a new brand. I know that probably if you didn't go to KBiz, you might not be familiar with, and I thought they were great, and I heard a lot of great things about them. KUCHT is, I think, how it's spelled, Kucht, I think. And then, of course, there's True, Residential, there's Viking. There's all kinds. There really is.
Okay. Well, that's good. So there's a couple comments coming in about that. Decor has lots of colors. Heston is fabulous and also offers outdoor. So
yeah,
that was great. Those are great comments. Let's see. So yeah, here's a good one. So can you give us some ideas about manufacturers that are price friendly?
I think you would start with Blue Star. I think that's where to start.
Okay.
I don't think. I mean, I guess it depends on what range price friendly is. It's different to everyone. So I was kind of surprised that I didn't think that any of them were that overpriced.
Okay. So someone was asking when you were going through and you're talking to your client about changing, appliance colors in your presentation to them, is there a particular software that you use to do that with when you're putting in those different pops of color?
This is just Keynote on the Mac. I am honestly not the most technologically savvy person. I have people that do all the fancy stuff for me, so I am like just using Keynote, which is basically like PowerPoint if you have a PC.
Yeah, so that's true. So someone could actually put that together and give people an idea, give their clients an idea.
Yeah, it's really easy.
Good. By the way, I put your Facebook page out there to everybody.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see here. Let me keep going through the questions. So how do you narrow down the right color for the client? Do you discuss accessorizing and layering color up front, or do you reveal these ideas as you go through that design process with them?
Yeah, so basically it's a lot through the discovery phase of just talking to them, talking about it. Sometimes it's hard when clients come to me. They are, like I said, color conservative. They're coming to me because they are so afraid of incorporating it themselves. So a lot of times we go into that discovery phase, and there will be something in there that triggers me to propose a color. If I really lean on blue a lot. Blue, I can tell you, is the easiest color to sell to a client. I use the words timeless and iconic because I think that's what people are afraid of when, especially on, appliances. And just like a sofa, we can spend $16,000 on a sofa on the home fashion side. So it's a big investment, and if I can't get them really to go into some exciting color, I love blue. It's classic, it's timeless, it's iconic, and they're usually okay. They're okay with that. So I will start there, and if I feel like I can push it a little bit, I will.
Okay. So that kind of leads into this next question. How do we help the clients relax their grip on safe colors, specifically, I know, right? If the cost difference is an issue or worries about resale, is it most luxury clients that are more open? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, you know what? I think it actually helps resale. Like I was showing in the 70s when we threw every single thing in avocado green, I think you might worry about resale in that case. But this is such a luxury look to add one of these bold colors, and it's kind of a curated look that I don't think it would throw off resale. Also, another thing I forgot to touch on in here is if anybody has like an Airbnb or a VRBO, you have to remember that people are starting their searches online and you need to stop their scroll. That's the same thing when people are looking for, if they're selling a home and they're looking for homes, they're starting online. And so something that might stop their scroll is a beautiful color range in their kitchen.
Okay, that's a great idea. So here's another question about mixing colors. So do you have any ideas of how you might want to mix? Like, let's say somebody wants a particular color appliance. I'm thinking that's what they're talking about. I'm not sure. But it
Yeah,
says any
yeah.
examples of mixing.
Yeah, so from the beginning, I come up with a color scheme, right? So I think, uh, you know, again, looking at that 170s picture where everything was the same color, I would,
Yeah.
let's say, arrange as a color appliances. I might do the other ones in stainless. And then I might bring in some of the smaller appliances that we have, the Smeg toasters or the KitchenAid, and do that in a different color that's part of that entire color scheme. Of course, we're going to bring in the wall art, and we're going to bring in the mosaic tile and all the accents. So I usually start with an entire color scheme and then curate it in a whole space.
Oh, okay. That's a great idea. So how do you decide if a color for an appliance is not just a trendy color? And which color do you think is one that folks won't get tired of?
It really, I don't think it is. Like I said, it feels very 60s and 70s right now. I feel like we're going to
Backwards.
you know what I'm saying? It's been kind of, especially with this quarantine, I think people are going to be looking for it. And, I think it's going to last the lifetime of the appliance. Like I said, I can imagine running into a client in 10 years time and having them say, Rachel, thank you so much for pushing me into that red range or yellow range or orange range. I still makes me smile every day when I walk into the kitchen.
Yeah, that's a good thought, especially since everyone's spending more time at home. Let's see. Are the colorful appliances offering options for replaceable panel fronts in case the client tires of a particular color?
You know what? I'm trying to think of who I saw. They were demonstrating it at KBIS, and yes, they do that. They pop right off and they replace with, they were showing it, and it's like very easy, and I'm trying to remember what the brand was. But yeah, that is definitely an option.
Okay. Let's see. And then someone was just kind of commenting about colored ranges are fun, but not all clients want gas, but some people don't even have gas available. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's true. One thing I will tell you, when I was talking to Bertazzoni, not everyone wants colored ranges per se, but they also don't want stainless. He was saying that the most popular colors are the new white ones or the new black ones or some of the variations of stainless. So that's something to think about too.
Okay. Yeah, some people were asking kind of the same questions about, replacing those colorful doors. One more comment on that is, or question or comment, many of my clients with high-end large ranges don't want to get rid of the range, but might be amenable to new doors. So we're not sure if that's a possibility.
Yeah, that I guess that you would have to search that depending on what the brand was.
Okay.
We can at least update those knobs, though.
Yeah, I heard you say that earlier. I thought that was interesting.
I think that's also, that's also on when you go on this build your own. You can just leave the body color in stainless and then just update the knobs. I think that's such a great idea.
Okay. And then someone was asking about how do you spell or pronounce that company that you saw at KBIS? Was it Kuch? Or they...
Yes, Kucht, I believe.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's what she had. Here's another one. In a color psychology class that I took, I learned that a blue can evoke the feeling of appetite suppression. What are your thoughts on that?
Bring it. Bring it. I'm serious. That is why I use blue plates. It's absolutely true. They say red, brings up the appetite. It's great to use in dining rooms and all that. I personally need to suppress my appetite, so bring it.
A lot of people can say that, right?
It's a great sales point.
Absolutely. Here's someone. I also grew up with a full avocado appliance suite. My childhood home was a Northern Cal model home, and honestly, feeling all that color, including the green shag carpet, the blue-green 70s wallpaper pattern, gave me my something cute, and I'm not understanding this word that was written here, love of color and pattern. Are you seeing these pops of color in appliances combined with wallpapers in the kitchen again?
Absolutely, 100%. There is so much color out there. I mean, we know obviously we can do anything with the cabinets. Think about, we've got the decorative, tile in the background. I did a launch of the, with Lotte Creek grout, and they have a Permacolor Select grout. So grout is available in any Benjamin Moore or Sherwin-Williams color. So you can use anything you can turn into color today. So wallpaper is definitely one of those things you can add in. I actually have wallpaper in my kitchen in place of tile backsplash.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's got to be a washable type, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know there's a gentleman out in the audience, and he's been in one or two of our other webinars. His name is Matt, and he used to be an appliance salesman. So from what he told me, so he's saying yes, lots of brands can change just the doors for the appliances. And then he's saying lots have to change the kick plates with the door though.
Yeah.
And then he's saying the changing out the knobs is also another option. So thank you, Matt. Matt, I'm going to have you do a presentation.
You need Matt.
Yeah. Yes. So let's see here. GE Appliances Cafe brand has changing knobs. That's someone else put that out there. Let's see. Are there any color combinations that are universally unflattering? I've been told that blue-green can suppress hunger. I think we just read through this. But it seems that certain shades are more acceptable. Do you have any thoughts on color psychology or cultural connotations with colors that we need to consider?
You know what? I think right now, culturally, when I think of like the kind of millennial, the minimalist millennials, they're really going, when they use color, they're using a lot of white. But when they're using color, it's sort of that really neutral green. So I think green is going to be a popular color. We're seeing it really used in kind of a deep jewel tone green on the home furnishing side, but I'm seeing it more like a more grayed out green in appliances.
Okay. It's interesting. Someone in here is saying that red evokes hunger. In an appliance. I thought that was interesting. Right? So there have been some questions about, and I'm not sure if this is an aftermarket question or not, but let's say that someone has a stainless steel appliances. Can they be repainted?
That's a great question. Right? I would imagine that if you wanted to.
Matt's saying no. Matt's saying no.
Matt said no. Never mind, Matt. Okay.
Thank you, Matt. And then
I would
here's
imagine though you could take it to like a auto place or something.
no.
I don't know. Matt,
Yeah.
Matt could confirm that.
Matt says not a good idea.
Okay.
All right. So but here's a good one. So do you consider the black stainless something that will be around, and how does it play into the color spectrum?
Yeah, I think black stainless is something definitely that's going to be around. I kind of consider it in the color as well. Like I said, white and black are the most popular colors for these appliances, and then red is the next one. It's kind of funny. So it's stainless, white, black, and then red.
Okay. Someone is suggesting when we were just talking about, coloring the stainless, they were saying something about peel and stick wraps are possible. So just putting that out there. I'm not sure what Matt has to say on that, but we'll see. Then someone's also asking about, well, since we're introducing color into appliances, would you also introduce color in countertops, or would that take away from the appliance focal point?
I do. So I just did a kitchen with, I call it 50 Shades of Blue because this client goes hard on blue. But I did blue range, and then we did blue agave granite on the countertop.
Oh, that sounds pretty. Yeah, that must have really popped. So someone's asking about French ranges. Do you prefer, and my French may not be good here, but La Canche or La Cornue?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would be amazing. They're really, really pricey, though. That's really up there for that luxury client.
Okay. And then someone's saying, this is obviously directed towards your background. Having come from a fashion background, which era in fashion would you most equate to the current trends in kitchen color?
I don't know. That's a really good question. Yeah, I don't know. I
was
don't.
thinking mid-century modern, but I don't know.
Yeah, in fashion.
Fashion, I don't know.
I got stumped.
Yeah. Okay. Okay to be stumped. No problem. Let's see. Someone's making a comment here. They said back in the 80s, they had that avocado stove painted with a two-part paint system through a professional painter while it was in the home, and it looked great. Well, thank you for that. Let's see. Oh, here's one about the wraps, that person. Matt, thank you, Matt, for this. Here's his comment. Wraps is what Smeg does with the Dolce and Gabbana, so it will work, but longevity is the question.
There you go.
Here we go. All right. Someone's saying, check out ILVE for the less expensive French look, still luxury, but a little less. Yeah, I don't know if I'm familiar with the company. Here's one. I recently had a young client that had an existing GE induction range and stainless steel hood, and we had them wrapped in orange with a vinyl material that they use on cars. Easy to fill and change the color. It is applied with a heat gun.
This is awesome.
I know, right? How do you? I think we talked about how do you narrow down the color for the client. I believe we talked about that.
Yeah, just through the discovery process, I would say. And then, for me, it's funny as they're talking about things. It's like I literally get little flashes of color as they, that's why I kind of wanted to share, the French blue, or if you think about Italy, that Italian Ferrari red or Lamborghini yellow, or, they might even talk about a mood or how if you look on my portfolio, I explain everything in moods. Because for me, that's an easy way. If somebody says they want something serene, I'll go into those maybe lighter blue. If they want something creative or they want to feel bold, you're going to go into maybe that red. So that's another way. It's just through the discovery conversations.
Okay. And then someone's asking, do you think that pastels will make a comeback? Because you showed that slide early on.
Yeah. Well, they definitely, I think the pink is definitely, if you get that neutral kind of blush pink, that's something I see more and more. If they call it millennial pink. So I think, yeah, definitely. I think we'll see the pastels. I definitely see them in the more retro homes. Um, and you know, that client is a very DIY client. They tend to really know what they want. But yeah, and you have that mint green, that aqua blue. If you're talking about, like you were saying, the mid-century home and you have the walnut cabinets, it looks so awesome with a, you know, kind of a teal or aqua appliance.
Yeah. So someone said, this is a comment about when we were talking about coloring appliances, stainless. So she said, I've had a stainless steel refrigerator painted black by a local car company. She said it cost $600.
Wow.
That's not bad. So here's another comment about this. Wipeable grass cloth wallpaper on Sub-Zero refrig front. It's in the latest House Beautiful Incredible Kitchens magazine, page 62.
What? Wipeable grass cloth? Wow.
Yeah, it's wipeable grass cloth wallpaper. Do these appliance companies have a good quality about the function over the product and not just a color piece?
Yeah, you know, they really do. I mean, that was one of the things when I was talking to the manufacturers was, you know, they really stand on their color is sort of a niche, right? So really they stand on the actual appliance as it is without any of the bells and whistles. You know, that's really where the focus is, and then the colors are kind of a niche.
Okay, so yeah, that's interesting. So here's a comment from someone. She says, I come from the wrap industry. 3M has excellent products for vinyl wraps that do not leave residue when removed. It gives the client comfort if they are not sure that tattoo wrap will work or want to change with the fashion. Thank you for that. Oh, here's a fun one. Do you need do you need an intern? I'm a student and think you might be my spirit designer.
Oh my gosh, love it. I love it.
Love it. Well, you know, I'm not seeing any more questions. Matt did come back with some kind of response here on the ILVE. He says the bottom left hand range in navy blue. And then he says, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but Ilva has 2. So I think he was talking about, that's when we were talking about color again. With like lower, less expensive than instead of a luxury type of that French look. So thank you again, Matt.
We love Matt. We need Matt on every call.
Oh, here's a good one we haven't approached. So do you think that the colors could be damaged by certain cleaning products?
You know what? That would probably be a question for I don't know. Unless, probably you would have to be careful on some of these things we're talking about, like the wraps and stuff. But I wouldn't think so on you know, just the one coming straight from the manufacturer. But maybe Matt knows.
Well, that's great. So I know we've run out of time, and I really appreciate that you stayed a couple of extra minutes to answer these questions. And I want to thank you so much, Rachel. I want to thank Amarok for their generous sponsorship. Thank you, Peter, as well.
Thanks, Peter.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And Rachel, we hope to have you back again someday.
Thank you so much, Debbie. It was such a blast.
Thank you. I'm so glad. That's what we aim to do, is make it fun. Thanks again, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.